believe it may be 6:30, my watch says 6:25, so but, there's no objection. We'll begin. Miss Elliott, would you open the meeting?
I'll be
prayer,
happy.
please?
Happy to, thank you. Our Heavenly Father, we come to you once again to praise your name. Thank you most of all for your Son, Jesus Christ, that died on the cross and for the salvation. Thank you, dear Lord, for our daily bread, and thank you, dear Lord, for just being with us and guiding us. And we pray for the cities, the Tri-Cities, dear Lord, that we may prosper, that we'll consider the people that we were elected in this office to represent, and in this office to see that everything is for their will and their good. These things we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have a quorum, so we'll start the meeting with a roll call vote.
Barrett.
Here.
Bowyers.
Here.
Dixon.
Present.
Elliott.
Going down the alphabet. Present.
Graham.
Here.
Haynes. Raleigh.
Here.
Okay. Call meeting to order. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. And you have December the 13th, 2011 minutes. Any comments, questions?
Let's see. Let's see. Oh, on December the 13th, 2011, where it said Carolyn and Elliott made a motion to approve the minutes for December the 8th, 2011. I had said I was wanting that part struck where the news media was notified 24 hours prior to the meeting. I'd like that added to those minutes.
Where's that at, Mr. Elliott? Third paragraph.
It's where it starts Carolyn and Elliott.
Made a motion to approve the minutes for December the 8th, 2011, with a correction that minutes reflect the executive session to discuss personnel matter. Charles Raleigh second. What was the correction?
No, the correction was because we on December the 8th minutes they were never corrected, and according to my notes we never did say they were okay. Because if you'll notice it says it was for the tabling. We'd table those minutes.
That's right, we did. Hope you never been approved.
They were correct. They were to be corrected.
Yeah, so we needed the December the 8th corrected before these can be corrected.
That's a 24-hour.
Does that make sense?
The
Okay.
8th.
To correct the December the 8th,
The 24-hour notice.
Yeah, I had said that didn't occur during the meeting, so I didn't need to be in the minutes.
what was the correction you wanted?
What
I just want that struck.
taken out about the 24-hour notice. I don't know why I'm talking.
December the 8th minutes?
I guess what I'm saying is we never have approved December the 8th.
We had, didn't someone made a motion to table minutes for December the 8th?
Yeah,
Any second motion?
until next
I-
time.
So they
I've
can
got
read it
that the December 8th minutes that that Charles voted yes, David abstained. There were 2 yeses, 2 noes, and 2 abstains, and then there was no change.
But it says Kateena Haynes made a motion to
Motion to-
table,
So,
and I seconded it.
so let's move on. And go on to some of, I don't see the relevancy in changing something that was tabled and never put into effect, so.
So these are no good.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for December 13th as is.
13,
I second it.
Motion's made,
2nd.
second. Roll call vote.
Barrett,
Yes.
Bowyers,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elliott,
Abstain?
Graham,
Yes.
Haynes, Raleigh,
No.
Motion carried and minutes approved. Minutes for December 13th are approved. The next set of minutes that we have is the minutes for the public hearing that we had here in the city on January the 24th. It required no vote or anything by the council. For information. That was the public hearing to obtain 2 trucks for a grant. And then the minutes for January the 31st, which you have.
I have something for that one too. In the first paragraph where it says Elliott asked if we're going to be penalized, I had actually asked if this was for the rock that was at the VA park, and Parker had addressed that, and he said that the money was taken from the emergency fund already. So I didn't say, are we going to be penalized? I want the removing of the rock from the VA park added. Because that was my question, that was my statement. Other than that, I have no problems with it.
Make a motion, we table those 2 corrections.
Rather than table the minutes, why don't we just, why don't you make a new motion for tonight's minutes, okay? And we'll put it in tonight's minutes the way that you want it read,
You
okay?
make
Okay,
a
yeah.
motion.
I make a motion that after where it says Elliott, strike Elliott asked we're going to be penalized. Actually, what I asked was this pertaining to removal of the rock from the VA park? And Parker said it was money taken from the emergency fund already paid for.
Would you want to answer that again, Mr. Box?
The question was, as I recall, were we going to be penalized for the Veterans Park rock?
Yeah, for the rock.
And my answer was that the agreement that we reached concerned that rock,
Uh-huh.
and that there was no penalties on that rock, and that the money that you voted to pay was to reimburse the state's emergency fund. The money that you're paying is not a penalty.
Mhm.
It was a reimbursement
Yeah, and that's
of
what
the
this
money that
says.
the state paid
Mhm.
for the cleanup. So you're just, and they took their money out of an emergency fund for the cleanup. So
Mhm.
you're reimbursing the state's emergency fund. And it's not a fine,
Yeah.
and it's not a penalty. Hope that's clear.
Yeah, it is clear. It was
Okay.
clear before. I just want this statement in there that was my question, because I didn't say, are we gonna be penalized?
Can you tell me again how you want that worded?
I asked him where we're gonna be penalized for removing the rock from the VA park. And I just want the VA park
Okay, so
added.
you need to add.
For moving the Mercury
Yeah.
rock.
Just
Okay.
No, I didn't say
eliminate-
Mercury.
You just want that statement eliminated.
That's all. I
then?
just want-
She just
no, I
wants it
want
left
that
out,
added.
Robin. Oh, added.
Yeah,
Oh. must
I
have
just
a-
want that added on, Robin, because that's what I
VA
said.
part.
Yeah, that was my words.
Oh, okay.
That was not in the form of a motion, that's a correction to the minutes, so we won't need a vote, we'll correct the minutes for that.
Okay. Other than that, I have no problems with the rest of it. That was just it.
Okay. Any further discussion? Entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept the January 31st, 2012 minutes.
I'll second her motion.
Motion made by Carla, second by David Dixon.
What did she mean to add with the?
With the corrections.
Yes.
With the corrections. Because you did say that.
Yeah, yeah. And that's just, I mean, you know, that's what I said.
I thought it in the transcript.
Okay, have a roll call vote. Barrett,
Yes.
Boyer,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes, with
Graham.
corrections.
Yes.
Haynes, Raleigh.
No.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the financial statements. I believe you all have them. Okay, that one's the general fund.
What's these spouse for $130?
That's our SUV stickers that, for the ATV, for the ATV vehicles. About 120.
Were they built in the city?
Yes, No, the city paid direct to Stouse for the stickers, a wholesale price that I ordered through the Hatfield sign shop. The stickers normally have cost us $1.62 a piece, but I ordered them and got them for wholesale for 50% of what the cost was. Now, have we got the invoices on those? But the city paid direct to Stouse for them. Now, as you know, I was preparing them and at no cost to the city, but some of the, there was an objection to that, so I discontinued making the stickers myself and just ordered them through Hatfield Sign Shop.
Well, now,
Well, what we disagreed with was it was passed by ordinance for $10 a sticker and it was being charged 11.
And we offered to give that $11.
What's the
$1
question
per
about him
sticker
doing it
back to
too?
anybody that came in for it, or when they renewed their sticker, we give them credit for the $1 extra. But
Mhm.
there was only, I think, only 11 of those, I think, that was purchased at $11 a piece. But there was no profit made by anybody except the city got their cost.
Who got the dollar first?
Nobody. It stayed in the city. Nobody
Well-
accepted it. Nobody would accept it. It was refused.
Cumberland tire, $767.
That's when we got all of the complaints about the tires on the cars, and that last, all 5 cars have new tires, And that last car there had to have its brakes fixed. So all police cars are in top shape, and we got all the equipment that was missing from the cars. We located it. It was hidden in the police station.
How you know it was hidden?
Well, we couldn't find it until a certain time. We did locate it. It's back in the car.
We had reports from the chief of police as long ago as back in June where that stuff wasn't available. It was on the written report he gives us, though, saying that stuff was not available back in June.
It was available, and it was located, and it was put in the car.
I happened to be there at one point and was there when they found one of them, one of the items.
Well, were the items current? Were they out of date?
Our chief of police could explain it to you. It was right there.
Were the items out of date?
The ones we found.
Expired?
The ones we found was compatible, they're in date, and the equipment that we located, I didn't see anything wrong with it. And
Well, I
so
mean,
we put them in the cars, you know what I'm saying?
what about the expiration date on them and stuff?
Some of the expiration dates was questionable, but we made a phone call or two, and they seemed not to be worried about the expiration dates on them. I mean, we can go buy brand new, but I mean, as long as they say these will, it's
Well, I
capable of
wouldn't-
doing what we need them for.
I wouldn't use a medical kit that was expired on someone, I'll
I
tell
didn't
you
see,
that.
I didn't see no medical kits. The other thing is what we was looking at. We've got new medical kits, but I mean, the old, I didn't see no old medical kits.
They're still in the plastic, aren't they?
Yeah.
Most of them.
Water fee, $5,877, what's that? Is that $6 charge on the water bill?
Yeah.
Reimbursement, water plant part, $431.42.
Interesting.
For the tank. That was for a water valve, altitude valve to keep the individual tank from overflowing. Instead of sending the man over to look in the tank, see how much water is in it. It's subsidized. And it's a telephone system for the alert us when the tank is getting too full.
Jones Excavating, $5,458.
I was gonna ask that, too.
That was for hauling the rock. That's a partial payment for hauling the rock to Laurel Ridge landfill.
That should have been bid out to see who could get it the cheapest.
No, it was less than $20,000, and the city has the authority to.
You know, the mayor has a spending limit of $300.
No, the mayor doesn't have a spending limit of $300.
So we're paying payments that the council never approved for $5,400.
Yes, and there'll be 2 more payments to that effect. It cost almost $16,000 to haul 900 tons of rock off at it was $16.50 a ton to haul it, and $24 tipping fee to put it in the landfill.
It probably would have made sense to try to get that also a little cheaper.
That's why I called every trucking firm that I knew of in this area. But this Jones from Laurel Ridge was the only one that would make a sensible offer on it. Any additional comments on the financial statement?
What's this Chris O'Bradbridge reimbursement for copies? What's that?
He was answering some of the complaints we'd received, or some of the citations we received from the Department of Water, and he got the copies from the library. He had to use their computer to send in the response. And they made the copies for him and charged him for the copies.
And what is this Carl Hatfield reimbursement for part of water plant?
That was that altitude meter use.
Oh, that meter, okay. I was reading down through here and
Yeah.
didn't hear the name mentioned, okay.
Some of those things, we don't have credit with Blue Book, that's where we get most of our parts from. And they won't accept COD, but we can't, COD is about $25 for any item. And it's either pay them a check up front, or a certified check or a money order, or they will accept a credit card. Our credit cards were expired, but now we have our credit cards renewed, and we can purchase these things without having
What type of credit card do we have?
a Visa.
Whose name's on it?
The city of Cumberland,
What's the limit on it?
what is it, 5,000?
That ever been on our financial statements before, the Visa card?
We never used it.
Okay.
But we are going to be using it for Blue Book. You'll see a lot of Blue Book payments on there.
Is that actually a debit card that's tied with the bank account or a credit card?
It's a credit card.
But it's through Vivian.
Any additional comments, questions, or concerns?
I've got a question. I don't know if I'll bring it up here now, but it says this, Division of Child Support, and it's listed under the police department.
Yeah, they take that out of check.
I know, but
They have a choice whether to have it taken out of their check or they can pay it directly, and a lot of folks just go ahead and have it taken out of their check so that they'll get it timely.
yeah.
And that employee's.
That employee, you have documentation in that they asked for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have a court order to do.
In other words, that wasn't a,
We don't have no choice in it.
No, you get a court order on it.
But it's deducted from his paycheck. It's more or less just a pass-through.
But we'll rewrite the check out. That's why we put it on there.
what type of in-service did Silas Whitehead go to?
Annual training, it's a weekly or 2 weeks of training that it's required to take every year for the police officers to keep qualified, certified. And that's at Richmond. Any further questions? We have a balance as of January 31st in the general fund is $67,758. In the water sewer works, the balance is $24,480.84. And we have $7,288 in the payroll account after the expenses. So
That looks good on paper for right now, but I'd like to know how it's gonna pan out for the year.
it's going to be close.
Because we were supposed to be reviewing the audit every 3 months
Well,
and amending it as necessary.
we have these here. We just got these ready today, and our auditor just finished. So, but we were going to give these to you because it's going to be too confusing and too complicated to try to do it here on the first. And but it's got a. Give me the production report. that one there. If you don't see, our auditor, we're in pretty good as far as our spending and our appropriations go. We're not above budget. We haven't overspent according to what our budget is. And you can follow it by item here, by the income and the expenditures here for every item that we collect money from and that transfers in and out. But you'll get a copy of this tonight too. It's your monthly or quarterly production report, and it pretty much. He just finished this today. Brought it up to date today. So. And
Is he gonna come go over it with us?
he will, yes, but he wanted to give you time to review it, so you can weed it out, so to speak. see what the problems are, or any questions you may have. So is everyone finished with their financial statements? Any more questions? If not, we'll move right on. The first item on the agenda, I'd like to appoint Claude Wayne Creech as our chief of police. So I appoint Claude Wayne Creech as our chief of police with approval of the city council.
I make a motion for the appointment and approval of Claude Wayne Creech for police chief for the city of Cumberland.
I second it.
Okay, motion second. Discussion? If not, that's for a roll call vote.
Barrett,
Yes.
Bowyers,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Haynes, Raleigh,
No. Wayne, if you'd let me step out down there, it'd be easier for me to come down and flag. And just raise your right hand and repeat after me, okay? I, Claude W. Creech,
I, Claude W. Creech,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution
I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and be faithful and true
be faithful and true
to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
and that I will faithfully perform
faithfully perform
the duties of police officer
the duties of police officer,
as Chief of Police
chief of police,
in the City of
in the
Cumberland,
city of Cumberland,
Kentucky,
Kentucky,
according to law,
according to law.
and I do further
I do further
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I possess all qualifications
that I possess all qualifications
required of this position.
required of this position.
I further state that I will
I further state that I will
endeavor to the best of my ability
endeavor to the best of my ability
to detect and prosecute
and prosecute
all gamblers
all
and others
gamblers
violating the laws
violating the laws
against gaming.
against gaming.
And I do further solemnly swear
Further solemnly swear
that since the adoption
that since the adoption
of the present
of
Constitution,
the present Constitution,
I, being a
I,
citizen
being a citizen
of this state,
of this state,
have not fought a duel with deadly weapons
have not fought a duel with deadly weapons
within this state,
within this state,
nor out of it,
nor out of it,
nor have I sent or accepted a
nor
challenge
have I sent or accepted a challenge
to fight a duel
to fight a duel
with deadly
with
weapons,
deadly weapons,
nor have I
nor have
acted
I acted
as a second
as a second
in carrying a challenge,
in carrying a challenge,
nor aided or
nor aided
assisted
or assisted
any person
any person
thus offending.
thus offending.
So help me
So
God.
help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I need your signature right on that. And we'll put that in your file.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Wayne. The next item is the reading of two ordinances which you've had the first readings on, and this will be a second reading for a roll call vote and approval.
Ordinance number 432, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 418 landlord rental ordinance as adopted on February 15th, 2011. Whereas to ensure accuracy and comprehension of the intent and meaning, it is necessary to change a portion of the landlord rental ordinance. Now therefore it be ordained by the City of Cumberland, Kentucky as follows. So much of page 5, paragraph 9B as reads. B. The landlord has been issued an occupation business license and has paid all fees and taxes as required under previous paragraphs of this ordinance. Is hereby amended to read. B. The landlord has been issued a privilege license permit and has paid all fees and taxes as required under previous paragraphs of this ordinance. The landlord rental ordinance will be annotated by appropriate pen and ink changes, and reference to this amendment will be entered in the margin of the amended ordinance. This ordinance shall become effective upon adoption and publication as required. Date of first reading, December 13th, 2011. Date of second reading, February 14th, 2012.
Roll call vote.
I make a motion to accept ordinance 432.
Need a second.
I'll second it.
Well, need a roll call vote.
Barrett,
Yes.
Bowyers,
Yeah.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
and Raleigh.
Next item is the ordinance number 433, Uniform Statewide Building Code.
Ordinance number 433, an ordinance relating to the adoption in the Uniform Statewide Building Code as proclamated in 815 KRA 7120 and 815 KRA 7125 by the Board of Housing, Buildings, and Construction of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Whereas KRS 198B 0601 requires that all buildings constructed in Cumberland shall be built in compliance with the Uniform State Building Code as adopted by the Board of Housing, Buildings, and Construction. And whereas KRS 198B 0601 authorizes any city, county, or urban county government to require by ordinance permits, inspections, and certificates of occupancy for single-family dwellings, and whereas KRS 196B 06011 requires the local government to employ or contract for or with electrical inspection services, and whereas KRS 198B 06016 authorizes each local government to establish a schedule of fees which are designed to cover the cost of the service performed but not exceeded yet. Now therefore it be ordained by the legislative body of the City of Cumberland, the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Section 1. Adoption of the Kentucky Building Code. That the Kentucky Building Code proclamated in 815 KRA 7120 and the Kentucky Residential Code proclamated in 815 KAR 7125 by the Board of Housing, Buildings, and Construction, Commonwealth of Kentucky, are hereby adopted in full as an ordinance of Cumberland in the Commonwealth of Kentucky as if set out at length herein. That a copy of said Kentucky Building Code is on file in the office of the Harlan County Clerk, and the clerk shall at all times keep a copy of said building code for reference. That an attested copy of this ordinance shall be transmitted to the Office of Housing, Buildings, and Construction of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Section 2. Designated Enforcement Officer. That the Code Enforcement Board shall be designated as the local enforcement agency for said Kentucky Building Code. All building code inspections shall be performed by the person certified by the Kentucky Office of Housing, Buildings, and Construction. All electrical inspections shall be performed by the state certified electrical inspector specifically approved by this jurisdiction. Section 3. Building Inspection Program. That pursuant to KRS 198B 0608, a building inspection program is hereby established in Kentucky for application to all buildings. Local jurisdictions may adopt by ordinance detached single-family dwellings as provided in the adapted codes. Section 4. Permits and fees. That the fees for permits and inspections shall be as provided for in the attached schedule. Section 5. Inconsistent ordinances repealed. That all ordinances or parts of ordinance in conflict herewithin are to the extent of such conflict and are hereby repealed. Section 6. Effective date. That this ordinance shall take effect and be in full force when passed, published, and according to this law. Date of first reading, January 31st. Date of second reading, February 14th.
I have questions before we vote on this.
Okay, let's have a motion to accept it first, and then a second, then we'll have discussions and
Okay.
vote, okay? So, your motion to... Your motion to adopt.
I make a motion to adopt ordinance 433.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion?
Question, Parker. Under section 2, the Code Enforcement Board shall be designated as a local enforcement agency. We have no Code Enforcement Board. They've never had a meeting.
We have a board.
We have 2 members right now, and they've never had a meeting.
What's the question?
Question is, we're gonna turn this into the state, and it says we got a Code Enforcement Board that's gonna enforce this. And we have to turn this in, a list of who they are.
You know,
Time served.
We just got around to passing the ordinances which give the Code Enforcement Board their authority to act on different things like this. And that was just in our last meeting. Remember you remember the ordinances where we cited the ordinances which they had the authority to now, we just finished that.
Yeah, we've
So-
passed all kinds of ordinances that
Okay.
they've never,
We just finished that. We've got 2, but they had no authority until we did that. So, but now we've got.
They have to
we've got the
okay it.
authority.
They have to okay it.
And so we have.
they're the
we
Code
have-
what we're
Enforcement Board.
saying.
And another
So the-
question,
The question, I guess, is you're saying, can you pass an ordinance when you-
Without-
We've no in court-
when you don't have an acting board?
that's right, we don't have an acting board. They've never had a meeting.
In my opinion, you can pass the ordinance for an acting board. If there's no board that does the action, it'll be hard to enforce the ordinance.
Yeah.
But in passing the ordinance, you have to put someone down that's going to be in charge of this. And your other ordinances that you have in place already recognize a board, Code Enforcement Board. You've given them powers, you've given them duties. By ordinance, you have given them terms of office. And whether or not they're operating or working today doesn't mean that they can't be working, next week. But sure, you can pass this to say that this will be their responsibility. And because you already have an ordinance
Yeah.
that has a board. The fact that they're not working, and I don't know that that's the case, but if that is true.
It's not, they have never had a meeting
If they've
since.
not had a meeting, then the option, if they refuse to meet, is to appoint board members that will meet.
Can we contract with someone, another code enforcement for that? I think you can
We
under
had the
these
second
terms.
reading last month of that ordinance, appointing the Code Enforcement
Yeah.
Board, ordinance 423.
So, you're
We've
putting
already got
these
a board,
things in
though, 2
place
members of it.
you're putting ordinances in place for procedures that, would allow a very orderly administration of this.
My
So-
understanding is all this paperwork has to be into them by March 15th for all this. Hmm?
It would be, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So this reading, tonight, second reading, would
Will they be in place and active?
They are in place. They are.
They're in
active.
place.
Yes, but we
And
haven't had any
active.
anything for them to do, like the blighted property buildings and things. We just gave them the authority to take action against blighted properties and things. And that was just in our last meeting.
we have two
But like
members,
Mr.
two
Boggs said,
members.
it's
We
getting
need
things in
3
place to
members
act.
on anything for the odd man to be out.
We don't
Well,
have a
they-
third one, we need a third one. And this does not include, single dwellings. This includes like hospitals and places for public, isn't it? Isn't that what this is?
No, not this.
This doesn't include single dwellings, because I thought that was covered under the Kentucky laws, that they took care of all that.
Which local
Requirements.
governments have to examine. Mr. Box, here's the letter of instruction that came with that.
It says single-family dwellings.
I thought they were exempt in there, though.
This does include inspection and occupancy of single-family dwellings.
It does not pertain to people that's already built, though. It pertains to people with new buildings, doesn't it?
No,
I thought they were exempt.
There's a code. There's a code of.
It permits the city to do inspections and certifications for occupancy of single-family dwellings.
But the ones that are already built are exempt, aren't they?
No.
It would allow for an inspection of single-family dwellings.
Sounds like an undue burden on people. They can come in and inspect their house anytime, at any
Well-
time for nothing.
I just need to know more about this, you know. I know that this is required, but
Do you want the State Department address that tells us that they're gonna have to do this? or-
no,
Did I give you a
But
copy?
I want you to, I understand it's all buildings. I mean, if you thought it was, that would include single-family dwellings.
I thought they were exempt, single-family dwellings, because I thought they were covered under another code by the Kentucky, I forget who they're called. I thought this just covered like people that, hospitals and restaurants, and I'm just trying to be clear on what this is covering.
Any further comments, suggestions, or if not, we'll have a roll call vote.
Let me be clear about one other thing that I think there was a question about, whether it was, this ordinance that you're passing is talking about inspections of construction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, construction, buildings that would be constructed or under construction. If you were going to build a new building or do some sort of major renovation or something like that, that would, whether it would be a construction project. This ordinance, if you've got it in front of you there, the very first sentence says that it requires building constructed to be in complying with housing's building and construction,
So that does exclude the homes that are already sitting there unless you're gonna do construction.
I haven't read
That's-
the entire code. I haven't read the entire code, so I'm not gonna tell you that it would exclude them. Let's say there was a fire. There was a house and there was some sort of fire damage and they needed to come back in and do rewiring, rework on that. I think that under that circumstance, that house would fall back under here, even though the house itself may still be there. I don't think that I think it would have to be re-inspected from the code, is my understanding of it.
Well, I could see that because that'd be,
But
But-
essentially, it's for new construction or renovation or some sort of major construction where there would be, for instance, one of the ways that I know that this kicks into effect is the utilities company, KU, perhaps will not reattach power until there's been an inspection or something of that sort with the meter, and you have someone to do the electrical inspection to say that it is safe to reattach the power or something like that. But I don't want you to think that just because the house is already, or a building is already standing, that there wouldn't be circumstances under the code that would require it to be re-inspected or inspected, period. Does that answer?
well, it answers part of it.
I don't, you'll have a code board. I can't imagine them wanting to go and inspect every house in the city of Cumberland.
For no reason.
Pardon?
For no reason,
For
just
no
to be
reason.
going to do it,
Right.
no.
There'd have to be some.
Well, this also says fees and all is supposed to be attached to this. When are we gonna set those fees and all?
As soon as the ordinance gets approved, we will come up and determine how much the fees are, what the going rate is for inspection. I think the people that's been coming into town now charge about $25 or in that neighborhood. It all depends on who you get. But you'd have to get a certified electrician, and we'd have to hire one and
Well,
establish fees with him.
You'd have to put up, I mean, you have more certified electricians around here than one. You need to give all of them an opportunity to, you need to advertise.
Yeah, we could advertise.
Because you just don't want to say, hey, Joe, you come and do this when somebody else wants to do it when he's needing jobs. I've still got a lot of questions about it, even though I know it's required.
Any further discussion?
Anyway,
Okay, have a roll call vote.
Barrett,
Yes.
Bowyers,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elliott,
abstain.
Graham,
Yes.
and Raleigh.
No.
Okay. Ordinance is passed.
Don't know nothing about it.
And there weren't any changes. So that's what-
You got 433.
Yeah, I get it.
I'll try to get this back to you.
You want to summarize?
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, so you can get them published.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, both ordinances were passed and approved and will be published. The next item on the agenda is the sale of surplus property. I think all of you are familiar with those vehicles that we have sitting on the parking lot across from the police station up there, next to Fields Furniture. We have 3 vehicles that we need to get rid of. 2 of them, the police cars, I've got legitimate, we've tried to sell them before twice. We've auctioned them off, tried to auction them off, but we couldn't get rid of them. But now I've got 2 legitimate offers, one for $650 and one for $800 for the 2 police cars. That's the two find my sheet here. There's 2 of them.
Have they been put up for bids and advertised in the paper?
They've been determined as surplus vehicles. And after you go through that process, and then you can't sell them, can't get a bid for them or anything. You can just sell them outright. I did have that, and it's perfectly legitimate to do that. After we had yeah, there it is.
These were, the councils voted to declare them surplus several months ago. They were advertised, bid,
Right.
and then the bids were rejected, and then one person withdrew their bid, didn't they? Is that how it worked?
Right, yeah.
So they have
What
been,
vehicles are we talking about in total?
There's, well, you sell them at each, there's a 2000 Chevrolet Impala, and this vehicle was purchased by the city to be used as a police car. At present, it needs excessive repairs and maintenance and has been parked for 3 years. A legitimate offer of $650 had been made for this vehicle. Then we have another one, that's the first one. Another 2000 Chevrolet Impala. This vehicle is also purchased to be a police car. At present, it needs excessive repairs and maintenance and is parked up and is not even moving at this time. That's the one we have a $650 bid for, and the other one we have an $800 bid for. Then we have a 1995 Dodge, a Ram Dodge truck, which is it's actually a piece of junk. The motors get shot in it, and the body and everything else is gone. And we just have to sell this for junk. That's the only way we could take it to the junkyard. And we could. There's some fellows here that would take it to the junkyard for half the cost that they could get out of the vehicle. The vehicles are sitting on that lot up there if you want to examine them. But we've tried to sell them in the past. We can't get rid of them because they're just, because of their condition and everything. But I have two offers from two people that have looked at the vehicles and they will buy them. One for $650 and one for $800. And we can take the money from those two vehicles and repair one other 1999 Dodge truck with tool beds on it, just to haul our tools around there.
So those two police cars were bid out previously.
On two occasions.
We also bid out a white Ford truck a while back, and
That was a junk vehicle.
well, it was put up, they had minimum bid starting at $400. And then you ended up letting Ray Baldwin take it, and you split the money, $302 for the city and $302 for him. I don't really see anything in the minutes where the council approved that.
That was a surplus vehicle also.
I'm talking about giving permission to let someone haul it off for scrap metal. It never happened. At least not according to this one. It does show that you put it up for bids, minimum bid of $400, and then here's the Impalas. And I'm assuming the Dodge truck you're talking about is the one for $600 minimum bid.
See, but we got bids for those vehicles at that time, or I remember we got, one person wanted to buy both cars, but they wouldn't come to pick them up after they made the bid, and we'd close out the bids and everything.
Who's wanting them right now?
Two city employees. And they have every right to bid on them. If anyone that is interested, wants to give us a higher price than this, or they go up and look at them and buy them but that's what the prices are. If
they're surplus,
they're
and we can
salvage,
use the
really.
money, or, well, the
Yeah,
salvage, I mean,
yeah.
and we can use the money to repair a workable truck,
We just bought 3 new trucks, didn't
you
we?
know, for the
Two.
tool truck.
I said we just bought 3, two. I thought we bought 3.
These are the
Stanley
worst
told me.
trucks we got. We've got some bad trucks now. All of our trucks they're in real poor shape. Let me put it that way. And we actually could replace 3 more trucks. But we are getting 2 new trucks, and we're going to pass the better trucks down to the other departments and actually replace them when they wear out. We're just trying to manage things, do the best we can to use what we got in the best procedures that we can adapt them for.
If we get offers for salvage, why not take it? I mean,
I'd recommend we sell these trucks and let them go. I mean,
especially if we're going to invest the money into a workable vehicle, one that needs work.
I'm
So.
just talking about the proper process of bidding and advertising to the public.
well, I'm asking you if you want to sell them as surplus price. According to law here, if a city receives no bids for the real or personal property, either at public or electronic auction or by sealed bid, the property may be disposed of consistent with the public interest in any manner deemed appropriate by the city. In those instances, a written description of the property is the method of disposal and the amount of compensation, if any, shall be made. Any compensation resulting from the disposal of this property shall be transferred to the general fund of the city. That's KRS 82083. It says sale of disposition of city property. Now, we've tried to sell them through the proper procedures, and
Did we this 95 Dodge Ram?
yes, that's the one that's actually junk right now.
I mean, we already had that one up for bid before.
Yes, it's set up for 5 years.
I think
6
it's
years.
declared, they've all been declared
That's
surplus.
what we're going to
Surplus.
fix that.
And I'm
That's the one they're
pretty
talking
certain
about
about the
fixing
2
now.
cars.
Said
We had
5
bids. There
years.
was a lady
I'm
who
just
kept
saying.
Calling.
She called during the
Mhm.
meeting 2 or 3 times to see if she had won the bid, and then, what was her bid? It was only a couple $100.
The next morning, she said she changed her mind.
Yeah,
Which
she
was-
withdrew.
Which was less than this, and you accepted
Mhm.
her bid of less money.
It was less than that.
It was less money that she accepted her bid, but then she didn't,
She withdrew it.
she withdrew it and didn't come in after she was, and didn't pick up the vehicles. So you've already accepted less money, so I don't know that you've got a problem if you've already accepted less money, but for these vehicles, now you're gonna be able to sell them for more. You don't have to re-advertise them. You do not have to re-advertise them if you want to sell them, particularly under these circumstances where you're gonna be selling them for more money than what you've already accepted a bid for.
What kind of arrangements have you got for pay on them?
Both of the people are employed by the city. One's gonna pay cash and the other said he make a payment plan to us. And we'll keep a little chart, a little register, you know, how much he pays and pass it on to the council. And it'll show up on our revenue sheets, the monthly accounting.
Can we have somebody to haul that off Parker and pay him half of it? Is that,
If you have.
Is that legal?
If you have property that you have to dispose of, you have to use any reasonable means that you can to dispose of it.
Mhm.
The question about bidding and opening it up is that you don't somehow misappropriate funds. So if you can get someone who will split the cost of, or charge you the haul bill based upon half of what it salvages, that seems like that's not something that you've manipulated.
No.
That's just something that you've contracted for in the market.
And the person that takes it has to take the wheels off, the battery out, and all of that stuff off the trucks. It has to be cleaned, cleared, so that the junk yard will accept it. Any further discussion, comments, or suggestions? I would like to get them off that parking lot up there too, because you know, that's not our lot. It's taking up space. And they're using it to park the police cars and the workers' cars too. So we're really taking up a lot of space. Any further comments? So if there's no objection, I'll make arrangements with the two employees to let them have it for the price they quoted.
And you need I guess that you want a motion in a second.
Okay. Do you have a motion to sell the vehicles?
Make a motion for the sale of surplus property, 2 2000 Chevy Impalas and 1 1995 Dodge Ram truck.
For $800 and $650, and for half of the salvage.
What he said.
Yeah.
Okay.
We want to put that in motion.
One for $800. One for $650. And whatever the truck is bringing, I'd say we'll clear about $300, $300 to $400.
Let's put it in half the sale.
Half the sale price, okay.
That's scrap. Salvage.
Here's a second.
I'll second it.
Motion made by David, second by. All those in favor, so indicate.
would she read that back so we can see exactly what it says?
Made a motion to sell the two Impalas, one at $800, one at $650, and the Dodge Ram to sell scrap and half the.
I think it should specify the years on it.
Okay, the Dodge Ram is a 1995
$2,000 on this
and
one.
the 2000.
Well, then it's 2,000.
I can't, I remember her not coming.
Probably should include the VIN numbers on those, so you'd have proper documentation of it.
Okay,
Well, that's
the
true.
VIN number on one of the 2000 Chevy Impala is VIN number
If they've been sitting 3
261WF.
to
You gotta
5
keep a
years,
good
they
record
worth
of it.
200 in the hall or not.
I
Somebody that stole everything on them.
I'll write down the include the
It
VIN.
ain't worth stealing, it ain't worth having it. Might get about 300 out of the truck. Yeah.
And that's the truck we want to keep, that's the tool truck, okay? If they can fix the tool truck. keep from hauling tools around in their other trucks. That'd be just one purpose.
What they